All right, welcome, welcome everybody. Happy Wednesday. Happy couple days after the solstice. So still in solstice energy. So I've been contemplating that as being, you know, the sun being the highest in the sky that it's going to be, is that the yogic metaphor for the sun is always that it's not just an external thing that exists, but that we have the internal sun, and the internal sun or the internal light is that light of realization, right? That light of awareness that orients us towards what is eternally true and real, not what is changing conveniently true today, not tomorrow, always having to navigate through it, but that it keeps us in this state of coming back to what is naturally true and continuous, right? That never endingness or that eternity that we, infiniteness that we say that we are. And that this is the practice of yoga, right? Is to come to this understanding of ourselves in a completely natural and harmonious way. So on the human side of that, right? That's the very cosmic side. On the human side of that, there is this understanding that our practice helps us to comprehend what the natural patterns of our own body, mind, and life are, right? So instead of that sort of Western idea is that there's a right way to do things, right? There's an ideal way to live or an ideal way to be, and trying to get yourself to fit into that, you practice so that your body and your mind start to explain to you that this is how much is too much, and this is how little is too little, and that there's a space between those extremes where there's actual harmony, actual balance, right? And that it's different for each of us. And that the purpose of realization or the purpose of practicing is to come into a full understanding of that range for yourself. So I've been saying this week that this is what I'm working with, is understanding how much is too much and how much is too little, right? So comfortable seat if you're not there already. And this is the idea in yoga, is that when we start to clear away our attempts to make things be one way or the other, what naturally arises is what is already true, right? Your natural state of harmony is what rises up. Your natural state of peace, of equanimity, starts to rise up. And just as you're coming into your breath, a little bit of Surya Vedana, so breathing in, following with your mind in through the right nostril, out through the left. Or it's close enough. Sometimes Surya Vedana is just in through the right nostril, out through the right nostril, but in through the right, out through the left. And follow that cycle, inhaling right, exhaling left. The energy of the sun is not just to energize or awaken in a physical sense, but it's to bring clarity. Realization is when suddenly things that were not clear become clear. And so as we clear away the layers and layers and layers of our own imposed ideas, the way things should be, ought to be, we want them to be, and our natural state of equanimity rises up. Natural state of peace is what we arrive at, because that's the continuous truth, is that that is what you are. A couple more breaths in through the right nostril, out through the left. And the next breath in, bring the breath all the way up to the space of the third eye. Breathe into that space and pause at the top of the breath. And then exhale all the way out and allow the breath to return to its natural rhythm through both nostrils. And then bring the hands together in front of the heart, palm to palm. We'll open with the sound of Om. Deep breath in. And let the eyes float open. Nice, you guys. You can drop your hands, then just do some shoulder rolls for me. So you're just moving the shoulders up and down, forward or backwards, whichever way you'd like. Just roll the shoulders. Good. And then go the other way. If you were going forwards, roll the shoulders backwards. If you were going backwards, roll them forwards. Good. And then just start to lift the shoulders up towards your ears, squeeze, and then drop them. Yep. And then squeeze them up and drop them down. And keep doing that. Squeeze them up, drop them down. So you're not pushing them down. You're just releasing the squeeze. So squeeze up, drop down, squeeze up, drop down, squeeze up, drop down. Good. Couple more. Nice. Good. Last one. Squeeze up, drop down, and then let the chin drop towards your chest. Roll the right ear towards the right shoulder, stretching your left arm out and down towards the floor. So reach your left fingertips towards the floor. Good. And then bring the chin back towards the chest. Bring the left ear over towards the left shoulder, stretching the right arm out wide. Right fingertips reach for the floor. So again, you're extending out through that right arm as you reach through the left side of your neck. Good. And then chin back towards your chest. Roll back to the right, stretching out through the left fingertips. And then chin back towards your chest. Roll the left ear towards the left shoulder, reaching out through the right fingertips. Good. And then you can release the hands, maybe take a couple of full neck rotations if that feels like a good idea. If not, you can stay with that half circle, just reaching from ear to ear or shoulder to shoulder. Good. And then bring yourself back to stillness, please. Nice job. Roll forward onto hands and knees. Good. Spread your fingers wide, tuck your toes, lift your hips, come into downward facing dog. And then pedal the feet just a little bit. So again, letting your hips sway from side to side, working through the feet, through the ankles. Good. I've been reminded that, we are all responsible. Every one of us is responsible for our own inner harmony. It's nobody else's job to maintain our peace. It's nobody else's job to be any way except the way that they are. And it's up to us to understand where our equanimity disappears and how it comes back. Good. Start to bend both knees, please, deeply. And then take your butt back towards your heels. So as the knees bend, pull back through the hips so that your spine gets really, really long. Keep your head in line with your spine so the back of your throat is lifted slightly. Good. So Mark, lift the back of your throat. There you go. And then pull those hips back even more, folding from the waist. So it's a little curl into your low belly. Drop the hips just a tiny bit lower towards your heels. That's it. Good. And then take the hips nice and high. Let your heels soften towards the floor. Breathe your heart towards your thumbs. So start to draw the arms into the shoulders. Good. As your shoulders go wide away from your ears. Nice. And then walk your feet forward towards your hands. Come to standing forward fold, Uttanasana. Good. Then inhale up halfway. Hands come to the front of the shins or to blocks. Reach long. Navel in. Draw your sacrum up towards the sky, and then exhale, keep your hips lifted, bow deeply. So dropping the head, dropping the heart. Good, and then same thing, pressing into the heels. Inhale, come up halfway. Again, without locking the knees. So lift your tail up towards the sky. So instead of letting the hips go back behind the heels, lift up, and then bow deeply again, dropping the head. Good, one last time, inhaling up to halfway. Good, feeling the sacrum lift, tailbone lift, up, up, up. So push through the heels, lift through the hips. Nice. And then bow deeply, dropping the head, dropping the heart. Good, bring your hands to your hips, come all the way up to stand. Beautiful. And then inhale the arms up to the sky. Can't have the solstice without sun salutes. Exhale, bow forward. Of course we can. I taught like the day before the solstice or on the solstice, so we didn't do sun salutes. Inhale, lift up, lengthen halfway. Good. Exhale, bow deeply. Right leg steps back behind you. Drop the knee, arms to the sky, Anjaneyasana. Good. Full deep breath. So you feel the legs, you feel the lift of the chest, and then release the hands on an exhale, please. Step back to plank pose. Inhale. Good. Lower down to your belly on your exhale. Rise up cobra on your inhale, point the toes, drag back on the hands, and then exhale, come back downward facing dog. And really pay attention to the rhythm of your breath. Right foot steps forward between the hands as you inhale. As you exhale, bring the left foot forward, standing forward fold. Yep, full exhale. And then inhale the arms around and up. And then exhale, hands come together at the heart. So you're standing at the top of your mat. Inhale, both arms up to the sky. Good. Exhale, bow forward, hands reaching for the floor or blocks. Inhale, lift and lengthen up halfway, again, lifting through your seat. And then exhale, bow deeply, dropping the head. Left leg steps back, drop the knee, arms to the sky. Good. Again, full breath. Find the ribs lifting, heart higher, higher, higher. And then exhale, hands down to the floor. Step back to plank, upward push-up. Find your inhale. Lower down to your belly as you exhale. Rise up into cobra as you inhale. Good. And then exhaling, downward facing dog. So you're trying to make your breath as long as the movements. Left foot steps forward between the hands on your inhale. Right foot steps forward on the exhale, forward fold. Good. Inhale, both arms around and up. And then exhale, hands together at the heart. Good. Little faster. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Stay with the breath. Exhale, bow forward, breathing completely. Inhale, lift and lengthen, full breath. Exhale, bow deeply. Right leg steps back, drop the knee, arms to the sky. Find the inhale. And then exhale, hands down to the floor. So there's the natural rise and fall. Step back to plank pose, inhale. Good. Lower down to your belly, exhale. Rise up cobra, inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. So don't shorten your breath. Right foot steps forward as you inhale. Left foot steps forward. Take it into the exhale as you forward fold. Inhale, both arms up to the sky. Exhale, hands together at the heart center. Good. Inhale, sweep the arms around and up. Good. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen, stretching through the seat. Exhale, bow deeply. Left leg steps back, drop the knee, arms up. Find the full inhale, reach. And then exhale, hands down to the floor. Step back, plank pose, find your inhale. Lower down to your belly, exhale. Rise up, cobra, inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Left foot steps forward, inhale. Right foot steps forward, exhale into your forward fold. Inhale the arms around and up, come to stand. Exhale, hands together at the heart. Good. Inhale the arms around and up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, bow deeply. Right leg steps back, drop the knee, arms to the sky. Good. Full inhale. Exhale, hands down to the floor. Step back, plank pose, full inhale. Full exhale, lower all the way down. Rise up, cobra, inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Right foot steps forward, inhale. Left foot steps forward, exhale, forward fold. Inhale the arms around and up. Exhale, hands together at the heart. Good. Inhale the arms around and up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen, reach. Exhale, bow deep. Left leg steps back, drop the knee, arms to the sky. Good. Full breath. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step back, plank, inhale. Lower down, exhale. Rise up, inhale into cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Right foot steps forward between the hands. Left foot steps forward, exhale, forward fold. Inhale the arms around and up. Exhale, hands together at the heart. Good. Inhale the arms around and up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, bow deeply. Left leg steps back, drop the knee, lunge, arms to the sky. Full breath in. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step back, plank pose. Inhale, exhale, lower down to your belly. Inhale, rise up, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot forward. Exhale, right foot forward, standing forward fold. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Exhale, hands together at the heart. Nice. Drop the arms alongside you, palms facing forward, Tadasana. letting the tops of the thighs float back in space. The shins soften forward so your knees are not locked. The front of your ribs soften back. And the collarbones go wide, but wide without squeezing between the shoulder blades. So let your hands float slightly forward. Good. Keep the arms, the armpits open. And breathe the entire length of your spine. Tadasana, as though you are the mountain within the blue sky. So in your mind, you can even imagine that all you see, every direction is blue sky. But what you feel through that steadiness of the legs, the steadiness of your breath, is that connection of the earth to the heavens. The connection of pushing down to rise up. Good. And we often forget that part of the practice is actually receiving the energy that we build. Is that you're not doing this practice to try and change yourself, is that you are moving away what is in the way of what you naturally are. And then if you don't take the moment to experience what is rising up, what's there underneath, then you will practice and practice and practice, forever thinking that what you're looking for is somewhere far away. One more breath. You are the mountain in the blue sky. Good. And then release, letting the eyes float open, please. Left leg, standing leg, bring your right knee up in towards your chest. Squeeze it in. Top of your left thigh moves back. And then take that right foot to the inside of the left leg for tree pose. The knee can go wide. Good. And then take your arms up alongside your ears, either interlacing your fingers, pointer fingers to the sky. Good. If your hands are not clasped, then you can keep the arms up, but hug as though you have a block between them. Good. So you have this full sense of reaching from your armpits, like someone's hiking your ribs up. Nice. Press that left inner thigh in towards the midline of your mat, you guys, so you don't let your hips float out to the side. Beautiful. Spin that right knee forward, please. Step the foot down, drop your hips back into chair pose. So plant the feet, bend your knees, hips go back. Good. Nice, you guys. And then drop your chest a little lower, parallel to the floor. Take your hands back behind you, interlace your fingers at your low spine. Good. Still in that chair pose. Keep the knees bent. Hug the upper arms towards each other. Draw the low rib cage in. Beautiful. And then start to lift your hips towards the sky as you drop your head, come into forward fold, stretching the arms up and over any amount. Good. Keep that feeling of pressing down through your heels, but rising high through your hips. Beautiful. And then inhale your spine up to that halfway point again. So parallel to the floor, lifting through your ribs. Good. Hug those upper arms towards each other again, widening the chest. And then maintain that feeling of length and bow deeply again, dropping the head, taking the arms up and over any amount. Good. And then release the hands down to the floor. Nice job, you guys. Take a moment. And then hands to your hips, come all the way up to stand. It was a short moment, I know. Left knee comes up towards your chest. I think I meant to just say take a breath, so it could be a short breath. Take that left foot to the inside of the right leg, please, for tree. Again, it can be anywhere on the leg, does not have to be high on the thigh. Good. And then arms to the sky. So some variation of either fingers interlaced, pointer fingers pointing up, or if the hands are not clasped, hugging as though you have a block between them. So your arms are really engaged. And then pull up through your armpits. And as you pull up through your armpits, take the tops of your thighs slightly back. Good. The idea that you are still standing in Tadasana, but now we're calling it tree because you've got one foot placed where it is. Beautiful. Nice, you guys. One more breath. Pull up, pull long. And then send that left knee spinning forward again. Step the left foot down to the floor. Bend your knees. Drop back into chair. Good. Hips behind your heels. Nice. Bring your hands together at your heart center. Good. Joanne, just watch those knees. Hug them in just a little bit. And then prayer twist, please. Left elbow to the outside of your right knee. Good. Nice. Emily, watch your knees. Don't splay wide. So either widen your feet or hug your knees in. Awesome, you guys. Come back to center, please, without changing the chair. Twist the other way. Right elbow to the outside of the left knee. Good. Feeling that the knees are pushing slightly wide, but it's really the inner thighs that are going wider, and the knees stay in line with the ankles. Beautiful. And then come back to center, please. Stretch the arms straight alongside your ears. One breath, inhale. Good. And then exhale, hands to the floor, straighten your legs and bow. Nice job. Step your right leg back behind you, please. Warrior one, so step that right foot a little wider to the right, turn the toes out to 45 degrees, and then inhale both arms to the sky, front knee over the front ankle. Good. Nice, you guys. Take your hands back behind you, interlace your fingers at the low spine, pull your armpits up and pull your ribs in. So again, get taller through the front side of the body. And then as you exhale, bow inside the front knee, take the arms up and over any amount. Good. Keeping your left shoulder as close inside that left knee as you can. So that outer right hip, instead of flying up and open towards the ceiling, rotate it down and forward. And then you got to use that left butt cheek a little more. Good. Don't let the knee come away from the ankle. That's it. Beautiful, you guys. Nice. Release the hands down to the floor, please. Spin your back heel up. Good. And then inhale both arms to the sky, high lunge. Take your hands back behind your head, elbows wide. Good. Elbows come slightly forward as you press your head into your hands. Lift your sternum up towards the sky. Lean back. Take any amount of a back bend here. Good. Lifting from your low belly, draw up and send that front thigh forward over the ankle. Yes. Really nice, Emily. Good, Harriet. Nice, Joanne. Good, Sarah. Excellent. Come all the way back up, arms to the sky, and then release the hands down to the floor. Nice. Step your right foot forward just a little bit. Take both legs to straight, Parsvottanasana. Good. Use blocks underneath the hands if you need. And again, almost like your spine is still in a down dog position here, try and find that feeling of lifting your hips up and back. Good. Nice, you guys. So the more you are in that awareness of your lower spine, trying to find the space between your pelvis and the tops of your thighs, this pose won't feel so much like you're stuck in one position, but you're actually just always looking to find what's the greatest length on your spine, the greatest length of your legs. And paying attention to, again, the effort that you put in. Are you putting in too much? Where you're pushing yourself, exhausting yourself? Or are you putting in too little, where you're looking at where the edge of your discomfort is and saying, I'll just stay away from that? Good. The path to realization, they say, is it's made of all the same things, all the same ideas, all the same understandings, but that we come to them individually in the way that our life presents them, in the way that our bodies and minds comprehend them. One more breath. Good. And then bend that left knee, please. Step that right leg back behind you even further. So lengthen your lunge. So the left knee bends, right leg steps back. Drop the knee to the floor. Use a blanket if you'd like. Anjaneyasana. Inhale both arms to the sky. Good. Hands to your heart center, please. Prayer twist. Right elbow to the outside of the left knee. Good. And then use that pressure of the elbow and the knee pressing wide into each other. Draw your arm bones in towards the center of your back. Feel your low rib cage draw in and start to twist open from your navel. So start to move that right rib cage forward as your left rib cage rises up. Yeah, that's the trick, is that twisting actually is initiated from the back rib cage, the lower rib cage, not the top one. Excellent. Come all the way back to center. Inhale, both arms up to the sky. Good. Heart high. Take it into any amount of back bend. Lift through the heart, lift through the pelvic bones. Yes. Really nice. And then come all the way back up. Release the hands down to the floor. Lift the back knee, step back, downward facing dog. Good. And then vinyasa, if you'd like, child's pose if you prefer. So if you're doing the vinyasa, you're sliding forward to plank, lowering down to your belly or chaturanga, rising up into cobra or upward facing dog, depending where you are today. Beautiful. And then find your way back downward facing dog. Good. And then the right foot steps forward between the hands, please. Left foot steps a little wider for warrior one. So let's step that left foot a little wider, drop the heel, 45 degrees, take both arms up to the sky. Good. So you are working your ribs to face towards the top of your mat. So your pelvis might not be able to do it 100%, but you can still move towards that. So drawing that top of your right hip back as your left hip spins forward, and then turning the ribs. Excellent. Take your hands back behind you, interlace your fingers. Keep the side body length really long. So pull up through your armpits again, and then bow inside the front thigh. Take the arms up and over any amount. Good. Keeping the right shoulder up inside that right knee as much as you can. Draw that outer left hip, spin it forward, and then you got to really use more of that right butt cheek, right glute to hold you here. Front knee over the front ankle. Yes, that's it. And then try and send your inner thighs back and wide. Good. Release the hands down to the floor. Nice job. Spin your back heel up so your hips come more square to the top of your mat. Good. Lengthen your lunge if you need. Inhale the arms up to the sky. High lunge. Good. Taking the hands back behind your head. Nice. Widen that front knee a little bit, Sarah. There you go. And then squeeze the feet towards each other. And then kick your back thigh a little higher. That's it. Good. Hands behind your head. Elbows spin in. Lift the chest higher. Come into that back bend if you're not there already. Good. Again, rising up from your sternum. So there's no collapsing into your lower back. Get longer. That's it. And then stretch your arms to straight, still in the back bend. Reach. That's it. Yep. And then from your navel, start to unfold the back bend all the way back up to center. So you bring your ribs up over your hips. Nice. Release the hands down to the floor. Good job. Step your left foot forward just a little bit. Take both legs to straight. Parsvottanasana. Placing blocks underneath the hands if you need, making sure that your feet are wide enough right and left, so towards the outer edges of your mat. Good. To let that outer left hip start to spin forward. That's it. And then again, finding where your lower spine feels almost like it's trying to do a down dog, right? Where so you have that lift of the sit bones back and wide, lengthening of the sacrum, lifting of the tailbone. Good. So the benefits of sun salutes are that it moves the body in this alternating way where you are forward folding and then back bending, and then forward folding, then back bending, then forward folding, then back bending. And then it's that constant sort of rhythm, right, that brings us to a state of balance because it moves the excesses of the body out. And when the excesses of the body, right, whether it's an excess of activity or it's an excess of inactivity, is removed, then what is naturally your energy flow reveals itself. What is naturally your state of mind reveals itself. What is naturally who you are reveals itself. So that's what we're practicing, is to remove the excesses, either where we do too much or where we do too little. And this is what it means to really be responsible for your own equanimity, is that by differentiating now those patterns, is you start to understand what range you naturally are at rest in, or you naturally are yourself in. And you're able to understand what works in your life and what doesn't. What thought patterns, what beliefs keep you in line with who you are and which ones pull you away. Because it is entirely up to you, right? We say we get triggered by the world and then we respond to that. We call that karma. If you are able to really understand your equanimity, is that what you can meet those triggers with is always consistent. Consistently patient, consistently loving, consistently whatever it is. Good. Bend that right knee again, please. Step your left leg back a little longer. So nice long lunge. And then drop that left knee down to the floor. Use a blanket there if you'd like. Anjaneyasana. Inhale both arms to the sky. Good. So your pelvis should be in front of that back knee so that you have that length on the back thigh, but you're not collapsing forward into the pelvis. And then bring your hands together at heart center. Left elbow comes to the outside of the right knee, prayer twist. Good. And again, you're using the elbow and the knee pressing against each other so that you have this feeling of pressing the right inner thigh wide, not just the knee, but the whole inner thigh. Good. And then draw the arm bones in towards the center of the chest. And from your left rib cage, back rib cage, start to rotate that rib cage forward as you lift your right rib cage up and high. Good. So it's not up and back, but it's up and high towards the ceiling. Beautiful. Nice, Harriet. Nice, Mark. Good, Joanne. Nice, Sarah. Good, Emily. And then release, please, inhaling both arms back up to the sky. Take it into any amount of a back bend. So chest lifts as you press down through your front heel. So if you took your weight totally away from the front leg to do that back bend, bring it back into that front heel. Yeah. And then release the hands down to the floor. Excellent. Lift that back knee, step back, downward facing dog. Good. Slide forward to plank pose, please. Upward push up. Lower down slow, coming through knees first if you need. Good. Bend both knees on your belly. Kick your heels in. Reach back for your feet or your ankles. Good. Keep the tops of your knees, tops of your thighs pressing down to the floor. And your heels are drawing in towards your butt, and you're going to keep them there. This is Bekasana, frog pose. So keep the thighs rooted down. Feel a little bit of a lift through your low belly so that your abdominals are supporting the lower spine. And then start to bend your elbows as you lift just your upper chest up off of the floor. So you're bending your elbows straight up towards the ceiling. Keep your thighs rooted to the floor. Keep your heels drawing in towards your butt. So it's a quad stretch and it's a shoulder stretch. Good. Chin neutral with your chest. So drop the chin slightly. Pull back through the backs of the throat. Good. Bend those elbows a lot. This is where the stretch comes in. It's bend them, and press those thighs down. That's it. Really awkward pose. Great job. And then slowly release. Beautiful. Release your feet, please. Flip over onto your back. Bend your knees. Plant your feet. Oh, I know. Get the moaning and groaning out of the way. Plant your feet. Set your arms into robot arms. Bend the elbows. Point the fingers up towards the ceiling. And then as you press down into the arms, good. Feel that you are widening. So don't squeeze the hands in. So get wider. Feel as though you're pushing wide through your arms, pushing wide through your elbows. Good. And then through your armpits, squeeze in. So you're pulling those arm bones in, but there's a feeling of widening through the arm, through the elbows. Good. And then press into your feet. Start to lift yourself up into bridge pose from the back of your heart. Rise up. Good. And pressing into your heels, drag back on the heels so that you have the sensation of lengthening your lower spine. And then sternum goes straight up towards the sky and wide. Beautiful. Nice, you guys. Don't let those knees splay open. Good. And then release the hips back down to the floor. Nice. You're going to come back to the same pose, so make any adjustments that you need. And then again, there's this feeling of pressing down into the upper arm. So try for a second that sort of thing that we do. So don't move the elbows, but feel as though you're trying to wiggle your shoulder blades underneath you. So you narrow everything. Good. And then pressing down into the arms. Go wide again, pushing wide as though there's this imaginary thing at the edge of your elbows that you're pushing into. And then start to rise up again. Press into your feet. Take the heart towards the sky. Take your hips towards the sky. What typically happens is that when we do that little squeeze in first, is that we actually kind of over compress in the back, right? And then we end up feeling that pinch at the front of our shoulders or the front of our armpits. Good. So drag back on your heels. Feel the lift of your armpits and then continue to push wide through your upper back. Push wide through the elbows. Nice. And then release the hips back down to the floor. Good. And then you've got one more bridge pose. So again, make any adjustments you need to the feet. Nice. And then again, without doing that little shimmy with your shoulders, press down through the upper arms. Try and find that same sensation, although, of squeezing the back muscles towards the middle of the spine. So you are hugging everything in, but then you're pushing wide through the tips of your elbows. And then lift the chest, lift your hips. And as you press down into your heels, actually really press down into your heels and drag back. Move your butt towards your heels. Good. And then if you'd like, straighten the arms and interlace your fingers underneath you. Good, bringing the pinky edges of the hands down towards the floor. And then as you press down through the length of your arms, lift from your armpits. Try and resist the desire to, again, snuggle everything underneath you to artificially squeeze into your back. Resist, right? But lift from the back of your heart. Good, so you get the back muscles to squeeze. Yeah. And then you're pushing down through those forearms. As you push down into the arms, the armpits, chest can lift higher. Good. And then release the hands, please. Release the back all the way down. Excellent. Draw your knees in towards your chest. Squeeze. Bring your forehead up to meet your knees. Good. And then release, please, stretching the legs out in front of you. Now I'm going to say the word Shavasana, but don't get excited because you're not staying in Shavasana for that long. But yes, turn your palms up for a moment. Let yourself drop into a lying down Tadasana. Let's call it that. A moment of Shavasana, which means that for a moment you let yourself breathe completely without thinking, without trying to determine what's right or wrong, without judging what you've done or what you might do. You actually have the chance to receive what's already rising up in you. Natural flow of prana, natural flow of energy. In some traditions, this is what you do, right? You do a couple of poses, you lie in Shavasana. Do a couple more poses, lie in Shavasana. Right? It's rhythm. The benefit of sun salutes is rhythm. The benefits of paying attention to nature is that there is a rhythm that is already set up, cosmic rhythm. When you align yourself with that in little ways, big ways, is the natural rhythms that are yours start to become apparent. You start to become really clear with what's too much and what's too little. What's really you and what's you pretending to be something you think you're supposed to be. Noticing a reaction to be something that is real or something that is you mirroring the energy that's coming at you. We do that a lot. And then we think, oh, well, that was the way I should have reacted. Feel yourself as the mountain in the blue sky, that there is nothing that you are supposed to be, you simply are. And one more breath. And as you release the breath, bend your knees again, plant your feet. Good. As you inhale, you're going to bring your hips up into bridge, stretch the arms up alongside your ears. So inhale, lift the hips, lift the arms up and overhead so your hands find the floor behind you. And then as you exhale, release the hips, release the hands. Good. Inhaling up, lifting the hips, lifting the arms. And exhaling, releasing the hips, releasing the arms. Good. Continue a couple more times. Inhaling up. Exhaling down, finding that full expression that you're not just breathing, you're not just moving, but that the breath and the movement are united. So the inhale is how much breath can I fill this body with? Exhale is how much can I let go? Right, so you're looking to find this sense of rhythm. Good. Next time your hips come down to the floor, let them stay. Then bend your elbows again, planting the elbows, fingers up towards the sky, robot arms. Good. As you press into the upper arms, again, feeling that squeeze of the back muscles, but the widening of the elbows. Lift your hips up back into bridge pose. Good. And pressing into your left heel, take your right leg up to the sky. So a one-legged bridge. Good. And reach up through that heel. So again, you're pushing down to the left heel, rise up through the right. Good. Keep your upper arms pressing down into the floor. Nice. Release that right foot down to the floor, please. Press into the right heel. Take your left leg to the sky. Good. And again, so it's not just up there adding weight to your arms, but you're pulling up through that left heel. So the left heel, the left leg actually pulls your pelvis higher. Collarbones nice and wide. Keep that hug behind the heart. Push wide through those elbows. Good. Release the left foot down to the floor. Deep breath in. Don't collapse. And then release the hips all the way down. Nice job. Good. Draw the knees in towards your chest, please. Happy baby. Draw the knees wide. Reach for your ankles or your feet in steps or outer edges. Good. Elbows inside the knees. Heels should be a little closer in than your knees are wide. So let the knees stay wide. Good. Nice. Deep breath in, relaxing the head, relaxing the shoulders. Good. And then bring your right ankle over top of your left thigh, please. Reaching through to hold your left leg. So a pigeon on your back or a figure 4. Good. Nice. Keeping your low back anchored to the floor. Nice. Then as you inhale your breath, stay long. As you exhale, lift your shoulders up off of the floor. Squeeze that left thigh in a little deeper. If you want to extend the arms, reaching for the left ankle or the left foot, you can totally do that. So drawing everything in. Good. And then slowly release, please. Unwinding. Step that right foot down to the floor. Left foot down to the floor. Pause for a moment, just letting the spine settle. And then bring the left ankle over top of the right thigh, please. Lifting the right shin parallel to the floor. Reach through to hold. Good. Again, keeping the low back anchored to the floor. Nice, you guys. We forget to look for that state that is underneath all the things that we think we're adjusting physically, mentally. We think we're doing so much work. And all we're doing is rearranging furniture. That's the joke, is you're just rearranging furniture in there. Because the foundation, right, the Dharma, the foundation of who and what you are is constant, continuous. Place your furniture however you want, but if you're unaware of the state of your floor, your walls, your ceiling, doesn't change anything, right? Your natural state of harmony. Deep breath in. As you exhale, lift your shoulders up off the floor, squeeze that right knee in. Good. And again, you can extend the arms, reaching for the right ankle or the foot if that feels like a good idea. So you're really drawing everything in, curling through the spine, folding through the hips. And then slowly release, relaxing the shoulders, please. Nice. Release the foot to the floor. Good. Bring both feet to the floor. Bottoms of the feet come together. Let your knees drop wide. Supine Baddha Konasana. Take your arms overhead. Hold opposite elbows. Good. Or opposite wrists if holding opposite elbows is not an option. And breathe deeply through your ribs, through your side body, through your hips. We are responsible, each of us, for our own state of inner peace, our own state of inner harmony, our equanimity, our balance. It is not up to anyone or anything else. And so as you find yourself responding to the world, are you responding as that immediate ping pong, right? The karmic ping pong. Whatever you throw at me, I throw straight back at you. Are you allowing that spaciousness that really is innate to all of us somewhere to receive what's coming towards you and to give back consciously what is harmonious, what creates balance? And sometimes that is being a strong influence, and sometimes it's allowing things to pass by. But knowing for yourself what is too much that you do and what is too little. Because those extremes pull you away from equanimity. The world will continue to be the world. Doesn't matter how much you rearrange the furniture. Your equanimity is yours. One more deep breath. And then release the arms, please. Bring the knees back towards each other. Good. Squeeze the knees in towards your chest. Roll yourself up to sit. Good. And then send your legs straight out in front of you. So seated. Good. Inhale the arms up to the sky. And bow forward, Paschimottanasana, pressing down through the heels, extending back through your sit bones. Good. Nice. Keeping your heels rooted down to the floor. Bring your right hand to the outside of your left ankle. Yep. And then your left hand can come either to your lower back or can come to the floor just behind your left hip. Start to turn your belly open to the left. Good. So you're still in the forward fold. So you're still reaching that right armpit towards your left ankle. Nice. But now you're turning the ribs open. And maybe you can take that left arm either up to the sky here or over the ear. So it's like if you're taking it over the ear, like you're going to reach that hand towards your foot as well. Good. Chest open. Armpits open. That's it. Nice, Harriet. Good, Joanne. Nice, Sarah. Good. And then unwind the twist, coming back to the forward fold. And then come all the way back up to where you are seated with your shoulders over your hips. Press your hands straight down, so palms flat alongside both hips, flat on the floor or on fingertips if you can't reach the floor. Good. Dandasana. So as you push down through the hands, you feel that squeeze of the arm bones up into the shoulders. Chest is lifted, ribs drawn in. Press down through your sit bones. Press down through your heels. Good. Extending out through the feet, through the crown of your head. Chin level to the floor. So this is the pose where you squeeze everything. And then let the eyes close, go inward, press down into your sit bones, but rise up through your chest, through your crown. Push down through the arms, but feel the shoulders wide. Like the mountain in the blue sky. Good. One more full breath, squeeze, but keep the jaw relaxed. And then exhale, release everything. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Bow forward, forward fold. Good. And then you're taking your left hand to the outside of your right ankle or shin. Right hand comes back to your lower spine or fingertips to the floor just behind that right hip. Start to turn your belly open to the right. So you're keeping your weight equal on your sit bones. Don't let your sit bones slide. If your heels start to come out of alignment with each other, you know that you're shifting your sit bones, right? So keep your heels in alignment. Good. And as you twist open, again, maybe that right arm comes up to the sky. Maybe it comes over the ear. Maybe it stays at your lower back. Good. You're still lengthening that left armpit towards your right ankle. So stay as low as you can, but then twist open. Beautiful. Really good, you guys. Good. Release the twist, bringing yourself back into the forward fold. And then bring yourself all the way back up. Nice job. Good. Bend your knees, cross your ankles, roll forward onto hands and knees. Downward facing dog. Good. Pressing into the hands, starting to walk your feet forward, looking forward. So make sure your hands can touch something as you walk your toes towards your hands. Hips stay nice and high. Stay up on your tippy toes, pressing down to the hands. Again, if your hands cannot stay flat, use blocks. Good. Look forward towards the tips of your fingers. Good. Draw those arm bones up in towards the center of your back. So again, you're on tippy toes. Good. And then I want you to try to, on those tippy toes, take your right toes to touch the inside of your right wrist. So like you're going to kick your wrist with your foot. Good. And then release that and try the other side. Kick your left wrist with your left foot. And then try it again, right side. Good. Keep your hips lifted nice and high. This is an exercise for everything. Left foot towards left wrist. Good. Right foot towards right wrist. Left foot, left wrist. One more time each side. Right foot, right wrist. Left foot, left wrist. Good. And then drop your heels to the floor, please. Separate your feet a little wider. Hold opposite elbows. Hang. Good. You can bend your knees. You can sway from side to side if you'd like. Good. If that was hard to do, then it might be because lower back is a little bit tight. It might be because hip flexors are a little tight or a little underused. It might be because your shoulders are a little tight. It might be all of the above. And that's okay. That's okay, because none of that is the key to your enlightenment. None of it is the key to your equanimity. Release your hands back down to the floor or blocks. Come up on your tippy toes again. Yep, hands flat, so make sure your hands can be flat. And then take your right leg up and back into a standing split. So right leg lifts. Good, left leg is on the floor, standing split. Again, letting your weight fall into your hands. Take your gaze towards the tips of your fingers. Good, and that same sort of feeling of lifting through your sacrum, pull up, long spine. And then maybe you bend that left knee, do a little tiny kick like you're pretending you're gonna come into handstand. Good, so just let the left foot come off of the floor as you keep your right leg super straight. That's it, nice. And then release both feet down to the floor, walk your feet back to downward facing dog. Breathe in, breathe out. I know after the second side, you get a child's pose. I promise. Good, start to walk yourself forward again. So you practice that, walking yourself forward, lifting up onto the tippy toes, pulling your hips nice and high, pressing into your hands. Sarah, take your hands and your blocks wider. Good, draw those arm bones up and in, and then gaze towards the tips of your fingers. Left leg comes up into that standing split. Good, one side is always gonna feel more awkward than the other. So if this is your awkward side, don't worry about it. Good. And then again, you're rising up, pressing into your hands, bend that right knee, give a little bit of a kick so that right foot leaves the floor as you keep your left leg super straight. You do not have to come high, but keeping that left leg engaged while lifting the right foot off of the floor is huge. Good. Nice, little tiny kick towards handstand. Excellent. Nice, and then release that foot down to the floor. Good job. Walk yourself back, downward facing dog. Deep breath in, and then drop the knees to the floor, child's pose. Believe it or not, that little kick, you master that little kick, and that is the exact same movement that will get you into handstand. Breathe deeply. The yoga practice takes the body through all of its range of motion, and that it helps us to establish, right? It gives us a rhythm, the inhale, the exhale, forward folding, backwards bending, twisting right, twisting left, upside down, right side up. And within that rhythmic movement, right, our excesses mentally, physically, emotionally start to move. Maybe they resolve themselves. Maybe the furniture just gets rearranged, but it gets rearranged in a way where we can actually feel the floor, the foundation of what we are, who we are. And our natural rhythms start to arise, assert themselves, and then it's up to us to either pay attention to that or ignore it. And if we ignore it, we might continue to create excess. Either too much or too little. Too much activity, too little activity. Good. Walk yourself back up onto hands and knees, please. Take your right arm out wide to the right. Slide that arm behind your left wrist, right shoulder finds the floor. Walk the left arm forward any amount towards straight. Thread the needle, pressing down through both shins. The sun, the inner sun, they say, is always shining, so that sense of illumination is always there. The light's always on. The question is do you see it as that, or do you have so many curtains and clouds and things in the way that it appears that the light is muted or has disappeared entirely? All we're doing is removing the obstructions. Unwind yourself, come back to center, hands and knees. And let's go the other way, taking the left arm out and wide, sliding that arm behind the right wrist, left shoulder finds the floor. Take that right arm forward towards straight. You start to recognize the way that you act, the way that you are in your body, what is too much and what is too little. What is really a response that comes from a deep place in you, and what is the surface level of your mind just ping-ponging back what the world has given you. Are you breathing into the back of the heart here, or are you breathing barely at all? Good. And then unwind yourself, come back up onto hands and knees. And keep your hips in line with your knees. Walk your fingertips forward like you're in a modified downward facing dog. So hands can be as wide as they would be in dog, but walk them out so that you have that same extension on your spine. So hips are pulling up and back, but not dropping towards your heels. So it's like a puppy pose. Good. So don't drop the hips towards your heels. Keep them right in line with the knees. Walk your hands further forward if you need. Good. And then you're pressing into the hands, feeling the lift of the armpits, the wideness of the chest. So instead of rounding your back, Emily, send your tail up and back a little bit more. Lift your collarbones forward and up. That's it. Good. And the idea here is that you're softening behind the heart by getting the chest nice and wide. You're softening behind the heart, tilting your sit bones up and back, and letting your chest drop towards the floor. So any amount that you can allow that, start to let the armpits get even wider, shoulder blades slide towards each other on the back and up towards the hips. Let the chest drop towards the floor. Tops of your thighs float back. Good. Inner thighs back and wide. At some point, the back might feel like it opens enough where the front of your chest literally is touching the floor, and you can lift your chin to touch the floor. Good. Anahatasana. So it's a long spine. Good. You're never once pushing the ribs forward to try to get to the floor, but you're allowing everything to soften and widen until you meet the floor. Beautiful. One more breath to be where you are. Get softer, get wider. And then from the front of your ribs, start to draw in and up, supporting the spine as you walk your hands back into hands and knees. Good. Do a little cat and cow, please. So you move the spine forward and back. Good. And then come to stillness, please. Beautiful. Step your feet back behind you into plank pose, upward push-up. Good. Lower down slow, coming all the way down to the belly. Stretch the arms, reaching back towards your feet, palms facing down. Good. Locust pose, so pressing through the front of the pelvis, float the legs up off the floor, lift head, neck, and chest. Good. Pulling the low rib cage up off the floor, float your arms up as well. Beautiful. Try and see that the tops of your feet are still rotating down towards the floor. So you're not letting your feet rotate outwards. You're trying to keep the inner thighs rolling up. Beautiful. Good. One more breath. Long, long spine. Pull through the crown of your head. And then slowly release, please. Good. Take a moment with your elbows wide. Make a pillow with your hands. Rest your forehead on your hands. This is sometimes referred to as crocodile pose, sometimes referred to as belly shavasana. And find your breath again at the back of the heart, lower spine. Maybe the front of the thighs, feel it more in this position. Right, the self, capital S, reveals its essence, its nature. Every time we move away the excess, either excess action, excess inaction. The illumination is being able to see what before you maybe took for granted as being true or necessary or continuous. You are not practicing to change yourself. You are practicing to realize where there is a buildup of too much or too little. And to start to harmonize those behaviors, those patterns, those thoughts. Keeping your forehead to the floor, just move your hands to, instead of being in front of your forehead, bring your hands behind your head, elbows still wide. Good. Then lift your elbows up off the floor. Keep your feet rooted down to the floor, tops of the thighs rooted down to the floor. Good. And then begin to lift head, neck, and chest, keeping your gaze straight down, but lifting the head up into the hands. Good. Again, the inner elbows might cup slightly forward. Good, but keep that sensation of from your low rib cage pulling away from the floor. So the upper back is lifting and lifting and lifting. Nice. Keep those feet rooted. Good. And then slowly release, please. Nice job. Flip over onto your backs. This is going to be the place you stay for true Shavasana. So if you have a direction you like to lay, put yourself in that orientation. Make sure your feng shui is correct. Try not to have your feet or your head pointed towards a wall, or no, your head not pointed towards a door. If you have no choice, be where you are. Good. Draw your right knee in towards your chest, please. Squeeze it in. Come into spinal twist, taking the right knee across your body over to the left. Extend that right arm nice and wide. Good. Spinal twist. You can either choose to straighten the right leg here, take it into a little bit of a deeper stretch through your IT band and hip, or keep it where it is. Good. And then bending the knee again. If you took it to straight, come back to center, hugging the right knee in. And then send the right leg down to the floor. Draw your left knee in. Good. Taking the knee across the body, spinal twist. Now you're thinking about your feng shui. Do you have your money frog in the correct corner? Do you have a bamboo plant or some sort of a plant? Do you have a water feature? Do you have a mirror? I used to know all this stuff about feng shui. I've forgotten a lot of it. If you're taking that left leg to straight, go ahead and straighten it. If you're leaving it where it is, leave it where it is. Right? Feng shui very much working with, again, the elements of your environment, the elements of your life, and energy flow, right? Rhythm, spaciousness. But even that is not the key to your enlightenment, but it helps to maintain that sense of ease in yourself so that there's not too much and not too little energies moving through your life. Good. If you've straightened the leg, bend the knee again, come back to center, squeeze that left knee in. Beautiful. And then stretch that leg down to the floor. So both legs down to the floor, flex the feet. So here, a true supine Tadasana, turn your palms to face up. Keep your feet flexed and press down through your heels. Good. And then take the tops of your thighs down towards the floor. Your knees can stay soft. Good. Feel a gentle lift of the low part of your belly. So it's like you're trying to lift your hip points up towards your low ribs. And then soften your low rib cage down so that the back of your rib cage gets wide on the floor. You're going to feel like it's impossible to do both of those things, but try. And then with that drawing down of the front rib cage, feel your collarbones nice and wide. Feel your armpits press a little wide. Move your hands if you need to. Upper back very wide. And the very tops of your collarbones or the very tops of your shoulders roll back to find the floor. But you keep your ribs soft. And you keep the tops of your thighs soft, moving down. And then your chin is level, so the back of your throat is getting longer, like your ears are pulling towards the top of your mat. Good. And for a couple of breaths, you maintain this sensation of reaching in all directions through your body, palms open. And you're breathing not just oxygen, but you're breathing prana. Right? You're circulating the energy that is cosmic, moving through your system, body, mind. Good. One more breath, fully active body, fully active awareness. And then release, letting the feet drop open, separating the feet more if you need, moving in any way that feels like it is placing you in your ideal Shavasana, using any props that you need. And let yourself fall into a state where you are not trying to do anything. Mountain in the blue sky. Very gently bring the awareness back to the breath, letting the body begin to stretch and move, whatever ways serve it well. And as you're ready, draw your knees in towards your chest, roll to your right side, and take a moment before you begin to push the floor away. Come back to an upright seated position. Hands coming together in front of the heart center, palm to palm. So it's a great remembrance that you are practicing not to try and change anything, that you are practicing to try to move away from a tendency towards excess and deficiency, extremes, too much, too little, And that the more we are moving those obstructions away or those imbalances away, is that what is naturally our rhythm, what is naturally our state of being rises up, because it's always been there. So you're practicing just to experience that, to feel that. And if you never give yourself the chance, the time, the opportunity, because you're so focused on what you're going to change next, then we miss the practice, right? We miss the actual benefits, and we're just in a state of doing. So allow yourself to start to pay attention to your rhythms, and maybe use nature as that reason to set yourself up in that rhythmic way. If I breathe this way or I act this way, so that I can come away from my patterns of too much and too little. And once I know for myself what's too much and too little, I know the range of my own equanimity, then I can stay there. And then what rises through me is going to be more and more and more of just who you are, and not all the other stuff. So this is the light of illumination. This is the sun, the inner sun, is knowing yourself so deeply that you are able to pick out in a moment, this is too much, this is too little. To stay in that state of equanimity. That's the practice, and it's already you. So don't get caught up in rearranging the furniture. Close with the sound of Om. Deep breath in. Sliding the thumbs up to the space between the eyebrows. Namaste. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your night, a great rest of your week until I see you again. Heads up, tomorrow I am subbing Cheryl's 9:30 a.m. class in studio and online. So if you're around, teaching that class tomorrow. And then don't forget that, Josh is doing the music, kirtan live music on Thursday nights now after my focus flow class. That's at 8:00 that he does that. So don't forget about that. And then he just started a new thing that's going to be on Tuesdays. If you saw the email, the butterfly language or the butterfly talks, which is meant to just be sort of a satsang type of thing where there's opportunity for, if you've ever had a spiritual question you really want answered, right? Send it in. It's like calling the radio station, right? So keep eyes open for that and some other fun stuff that's going to be coming up soon.